Welcome, and I want to take you on a little journey with me of what I've been up to in terms of making some botanical watercolors. I learned about this from a class that I'm taking, online class with Julie Gibbons. I can say more about her. But I started with making a pokeweed berry ink. Pokeweed is a weed that grows readily in our yard. It's toxic, but it reseeds itself very easily. I'd heard that the berries, when simmered in water, made a beautiful, beautiful pinkish, bordering on red colored ink. So I found some berries, boiled them in my kitchen, and sure enough, it made a beautiful color. So then I thought, what else can I make colors out of? Marigolds was my next choice because I have quite a lot of marigolds in my yard. And I took the petals and simmered them in pots as well. I also looked for walnuts. We have some walnut trees, and they're the kind of walnuts that really aren't edible for humans. The squirrels love them. But I took the walnuts and simmered those. They make a beautiful brown ink, dark brown. I also got some parsley and basil to make some green ink. And rather than forage for the next thing, I went to the grocery store and bought a small red cabbage. So at this point, I had just about every pot in my kitchen filled with some water, simmering water, and some plant materials, having the plant materials release their colors into the water. And then I would remove those petals from the water and reduce the water a little bit more to concentrate my color. And then the next step was to look for some bottles to put them in. So I scoured around our cupboards for bottles. There were some supplement bottles that were nearly empty, so I transferred the contents into other bottles so that I had enough. I wanted dark bottles to keep the light from fading my inks, and I wanted glass so there wasn't any interference between a plastic and any of the volatile materials in the inks. So I was feeling, all these simmering pots in my kitchen, feeling a little bit like a witch, but no incantations over the inks, just a lot of, please give me some beautiful colors. What else did I do? Oh, and then I read someplace that there's some essential oils can help preserve them because I didn't want my inks to get moldy. So the ones I used were rosemary essential oils and wintergreen. And so now my kitchen had even more delightful smells into it. At that point, it was ready. It was time for me to start swatching out the colors. So I'd see what they really did produce on paper. And I used watercolor paper. And as you can see, this one even tells you I boiled it in water for I simmered it for 25 minutes. So I kind of was trying to be like scientific and, remind myself of how I had made these colors. And then as you can see here, I'd put one sort of, paintbrush full of color on a circle, and then I'd put two paintbrushes, swipes over it to see how dark I could get the color with these. And this time I added some magnesium to my the same pokeweed berries. Here's just the turmeric and marigold together, the basil, chlorophyll, and parsley and the walnuts. Just how dark could I get them? Now with the cabbage, I also could alter it with alter the pH of it. So adding some vinegar or some baking soda. You can see in this particular row, just plain cabbage, red cabbage simmered. And then could get it pretty dark, a dark purple. But if I added vinegar, it would be a kind of a grayish, bluish purple color. If you added baking soda, it changed, even getting into some kind of golden and green colors. And so I experimented with adding lots of vinegar, and I could get a very light color blue. If I sprinkled baking soda on top of it while it was still wet, I got this kind of a greenish cast. And so there were just so many different things just out of colors out of one cabbage. It was lots of fun. Then I made a color wheel to see if I could have the standard color wheel with yellow, orange, red, purple, blue, and green. And I found that although I didn't have any ink that was orange, I could mix the marigold and turmeric ink with the pokeweed color, and I'd get a kind of orange. And again, I had to experiment to try to find my blue because I don't have a single little jar that has blue in it. But that was pretty satisfying to see the different colors I could make all by myself with plant materials. I just decided to make some kind of design, some mandalas, round circular shaped designs using my different colors and showing the different values from dark to lighter colors. So each of these colors, these are the non-cabbage ones, darker and lighter colors with them. And again, they behaved quite well. They kind of didn't flow off the page in unpredictable ways. The next one is just only with the cabbage, with the pH changing to get some kind of golden colors as well as some greens. Of course, the predictable, more purple colors from cabbage, darker versions of it, and the blue as well. So it was just a lot of fun to be making all of these different colors with my cabbage and with my different plant materials. I did feel it was kind of like a little bit of a scientist as I tried to figure out like how much vinegar did I add to get this blue color. I wasn't very disciplined, but I still have a good idea that I can replicate this again. But the other thing that really happened for me was to really have so much kind of affection for these plants for releasing their colors to me, especially now that winter is approaching. The leaves have dropped. The plants in our garden have all died with our frosts that we've gotten, but I have their colors. They have left for me in these little bottles that I can use. I appreciate these little bottles of ink so much more than the ones I could go to the store to buy, just because I have a personal relationship with these now, and just a really, like I said, a deep gratitude and appreciation for like, oh, thank you so much, marigolds, for giving me your color. And it's just been really a lot of joy and feeling a deep connection to these plants and wondering what other colors on different plants could give me that I can try with next year as I forage again and to make more botanical inks. So thank you so much for going on this little journey with me into my adventure of making plant-based inks. Thank you.